Okay, Mazda 1996 Protege getting a check engine light. Don't worry about that. See, there's the check engine. Don't worry about that charge thing. It's just because I don't have the engine started. Okay, so I'm going to find out what it is. I'm in luck because the 1996 model year is the first year, at least in the US, where all the cars have a standardized connector. So I could get one of these scan tools off of eBay. This one was about $15, free shipping. With tax and all, it's like $17, $18, something like that. Not too expensive. Or the other choice is I can go to Meineke and they will scan it for free and tell me what the code is. But then, you know, I feel kind of bad not using their service to fix it. So yeah, in some states like O'Reilly or AutoZone will scan your car for free. California will not. So the connector for the scanner is going to be, it's always someplace near the driver's seat. So it's either going to be around there or someplace around here. I'm going to kind of slip this camera under here. I don't know if it'll catch it, but right around, yeah, you see this thing? This is the connector over here. And for context, let me show where this is. Now this connector is keyed, so it can only go in one way. Okay, it's hooked up there, and the actual unit has no power. There's no batteries in here. It draws power from the car itself, and it's important to turn the car on. So not just the accessory, but you got to turn it on. So I don't know if that shows over there, but you see there's like off and there's accessory, like you can just turn the radio on, and then there's the on position. You got to turn it on, otherwise you won't be able to read the computer. Okay, so this thing is hooked up now. I'm going to press the enter button and it will try to communicate with the car. And so all of this, it's trying all the different protocols, I guess, that are possible. Aha. So it's happy with that ISO protocol. DTC01. Looking in the manual, that means trouble code or something like that. So diagnostic trouble code. So I'm going to press the enter button again. This thing is pretty simple. Anyway, you can read the manual on yours if you buy one. But anyway, so I'm going to press the enter button. And okay, I don't know what. Fault 1. Okay. Then what? Press enter again, I guess. P0134. That's the trouble code. P0134. So remember that. Okay, because this is a El Cheapo scanner, it doesn't tell me what P0134 means, but I got a book that comes with it, and got to open it up and then look. P0134 over here. O2 sensor, circuit no activity, bank 1, sensor 1. Alright, so I looked up on the internet where bank 1, sensor 1 is for O2 sensor, that is oxygen sensor, and that turns out to be right out in front of the engine over here. I don't know if you can see it, sort of, there's a wire coming in and it goes into a thing that kind of looks like a spark plug. You can kind of see two white wires and a black wire if you look carefully, and that screws into the engine. Now that stuff comes up over here. Here's a wire, and it plugs in over there. Now that plug, to get that plug off, you might think that this is the plug part, but this is actually the socket part. So what you have to do is take this socket sort of off of its mounting. It's sort of fastened to this something underneath. Slide it forward and off, and then it will be loose like this. Then there's a pin right on top over here. You see sort of a lever, a pin right on the top. What you want to do is push this down, squeeze that, and pull the plug out from the other side. So you squeeze this. I took it off. I couldn't show you taking it off, but basically you hold it over here, squeeze this, and pull out this plug from this other side. See, this is actually the socket end. Now that this thing is loose, you can do things the hard way. You can take off 1, 2, 3. There's actually 2 more, so 5 bolts, and then try to snake out this heat shield. I wasn't able to get that off. Or you can do it the easy way. Go over to O'Reilly and they will rent you for $0. You just leave a deposit and they will give you, well, lend you an O2 removal tool, which is this thing over here. See, I don't care what kind of sockets or funny wrenches, crescent wrench, crowfoot wrench you have, it's not as good as this tool over here. See, there's actually 3 different styles, but the one I'm going to use is this one over here. Kind of like a spark plug wrench. You see, it fits exactly the O2 sensor over here, but there's this slot, so the wire can slide in through the slot, and then you just turn it with a regular 3/8 inch ratchet, which I happen to have. So I'll just get a regular, oh yeah, here, this one. See, this thing just goes right kind of in there. You slip this over the wire and you can loosen that O2 sensor, and once it's loose, and remember the connector is unplugged, you can just kind of turn it by hand and just pull it right out. That's the easy way. Okay, so I use that special tool to loosen the O2 sensor without even removing this heat shield, and I'm just kind of unscrewing it by hand, and okay, here it is. I can't tell whether it's good or not. Certainly looks oxidized, and they show you on the internet how to test these, but who cares? Because I already bought a new one from eBay and I'm going to put it in. Now the one I got, actually you can get the exact replacement on eBay, and it's about $60. And the $60 one comes with this connector, and you just plug it right in. Or if you want to save some money, there's a slightly cheaper one. That's this. It's the same thing. See? It's this, but it doesn't come with the connector. It comes with these butt splicers. So what you do is, I guess you cut the old wire and you reuse this old connector over here, and you use these to join the wires. Now I'm actually an electrical engineer, so I feel very comfortable with making a good splice here, and I'm not afraid of it at all. If you're worried about not making good contact and you're going to get a bad reading, then buy the $50-$60 one, and then you don't have to hassle. Then you just plug the sucker right in. Alright, now so the new part has now been spliced into. What I did was I cut off the bad O2 sensor from this cable, salvaged this cable, spliced in the 3 wires according to the instructions, white to white, black to black, and anyway, crimped those so it's all set to go in. Now just before screwing it in, I would normally, well, if you have like spark plugs or something going in, often you want to put this anti-seize compound on it so that it won't be so difficult to take off later. You know, spread a little bit of this on the threads. But this O2 sensor came with this cap on it. And hey, that's funny. Why is there a plastic cap? Why? Because they already were nice guys and they already put a little bit of anti-seize compound on there already. So I don't need to add my own. It's just all set to go. So I'm going to screw this in. First by hand, and then for the final few turns, I'm going to use that tool again. Alright, so now the new one has been installed in there. There's my splice there, and I put it back into this retaining cable support and plugged it back into where it's supposed to go. So I'll get into the car and let's see how it works. Well, so I started up the car, and in fact the check engine light had gone off. However, there's still a trouble code embedded inside of the car's computer somewhere, and I don't know what that will do later. You know, will the light come on again or not? Now, the old school way of clearing that light would be just disconnect the battery and then, well, count to about 10 or 20, reconnect the battery, and then that should clear out the trouble code. However, since I bought this $15 device, I'm going to get my money's worth. Again, it's plugged into the socket over there, and the key switch is turned to on, not just accessory, to on. And well, let's see. Okay, so I've got trouble codes. I'll scroll down to erase. Yeah, okay, I want to erase the trouble code. So enter, erase, yes or no. Enter again for yes. And looks like it was successful. So let me get back to, let's see, scroll. Trouble codes, okay. Number 1, enter. Oh, still showing one. Interesting. It's acting like it's still not okay, well, maybe this unit has just stored it. Let me disconnect and reconnect, and then let me see if that trouble code is still there. Okay, so what I did was I disconnected the connector and I reconnected it, and it looks like it reread the trouble codes. It didn't find any, so I can look and see diagnostic trouble code, yes. No codes, yay, I'm clear. Alright, so now I can go and return that loaner O2 wrench to O'Reilly, and they'll give me my money back. Great.